Welcome to this English lesson about 10 words probably only native English speakers use. So, if you can get these into your conversation, this will really help you sound more like a natural English speaker. So, let's start right off the bat with the word comprehend. So, for each of these 10 words, I'm going to have the definition written down there, and I will have two examples for each of these words, along with a couple photos for each of these words. So the first one is comprehend. Comprehend is a verb. It's another way to say understand. But of course, in English, we have to have different ways to say the same thing just to make learning English that much more difficult. Comprehend. It's another way to say you understand something. So let's look at this picture, and I also have a sentence explaining this picture. Now, on the chalkboard in the back of that class, it looks like there is some math written on there. Probably one or more math problems. I am not a math teacher. I am just an English teacher. But I know it would be difficult for me to comprehend that math problem. Luckily, at least according to the sentence, this math teacher is pretty good because look at the sentence below. It says, after the teacher explained it, I could finally comprehend the math problem. Here's another one with comprehend. So much of learning any subject, but especially English, so much of learning English is about reading. So if you can get more reading and listening into your life, your English will improve that much more quickly. So in this picture, this woman is reading. Right now, you are listening and reading. You have the best of both worlds. Let's take a closer look at this picture, and I will read this sentence. She read the book slowly to comprehend every detail of the story. Next word here, vacant. Vacant. And guess what? Vacant is just another way to say empty, pretty much. Now, I have a glass right here. Ooh, it's not empty, actually. There is a little water here. So we might not call a glass vacant, so it doesn't always work with empty, but I'm going to give you a couple examples of where vacant really works. So let's look at the definition first. Vacant means empty, or not filled, or not used. And one of the most common ways you might see that is with a seat. But how about this? This looks like another classroom, and it looks like a boy is walking away from that seat. How about this sentence? The vacant seat next to me was quickly taken by a new student. This is a good one right here. Vacant. A house could be vacant, which means empty, but it might mean somebody moved out and nobody is living there. The house has been vacant since the family moved out. Take a closer look at that picture. I'll make it really big, but you can see that the lawn or the grass in front of the house has not been cut in quite a while because that grass is quite long. It looks like the house needs a good paint job. It looks like somebody needs to paint that house, and it almost looks like moss is growing on the roof. That green stuff on the roof of the house, we would call moss. But how about this? You might hear vacancy. It's another way to say vacant. Vacant is the adjective it describes a noun. And vacancy is a noun, it's a thing. If you go to a hotel, they might have a vacancy, which means an empty room. If you go to a job interview, that company is probably filling a vacancy. It's an empty position. Vacant. How about this next one? Knuckles. Maybe my favorite word of the 10. Knuckles. You will notice that it starts with a K, but that K is silent. And it's a part of your body. Knuckles are the joints in your fingers, especially the ones that stick out when you make a fist. So what I'm doing now is called my fist. You might use it if you want to punch somebody, but those things that stick out are your knuckles. And I have a sentence here about this man who's playing piano at a recital. That might be a new word. It's another way to say concert. So a piano recital. And he might be a little nervous. So he's cracking his knuckles. I do not crack my knuckles. I do have a family member who does. But when you put your fists together, you might make a sound like. Some people hate that noise. I don't like to crack my own knuckles. But how about this sentence here? He cracked his knuckles nervously before the piano recital. We might also have something called white knuckles, and that is when you are gripping onto something really tightly. Your knuckles might turn white. How about this next picture and sentence? This person's knuckles are definitely white because they are gripping onto that bar so tightly. Her knuckles turned white as she gripped the roller coaster bar tightly. You might hear this term in English, white knuckle driving. Where I live, it snows sometimes. I have done a few English lessons in the snow, and if the roads are really bad, you might grip the steering wheel tightly, and then your knuckles, they will turn white because you're gripping so tightly. All right, we got some more words here for you. Let me get this ready. Ooh, awning. Awning is the next one. Not yawning. That starts with a Y. People do that when they are tired. That might be a yawn. No, we are talking about awning. Awning. Well, what is it? Right down there. An awning is a cover made of cloth or plastic that is attached to the outside of a building, above a window or a door, to give shade from the sun or shelter from the rain. And in that picture, I will make it a little bigger. You can see that it looks like two people might be enjoying a coffee on the street outside of a cafe, but luckily there is a awning over the building, so that bright sun is not going to give them a sunburn. They are protected by the sun. They can still enjoy their coffee and not have to worry about getting sunburnt. Do you know what sunburnt is? It's when your skin turns red because the sun is so hot. You need to wear sunscreen to prevent a sunburn. How about this one? The colorful awning over the shop window made it look very welcoming. If something is welcoming, it makes you want to go there. This store, because of that awning and maybe the lights inside, it does look very welcoming. The next one. Not one of my favorite words on this list, and that is grouchy. Might be a little tough to say. Grouchy. Grouchy means easily annoyed or angered or grumpy. Those are all pretty good synonyms for grouchy. Look at that man. Could be morning time. He does have a coffee maker right next to him and a cup of coffee in front of him. Maybe he is a little grouchy. Maybe he's a little grumpy in the morning before he has his first cup of coffee. My brother is grouchy in the morning before he has his coffee. Shout out to my brother Ben. He has been on the channel before. He's not grouchy in the morning before his coffee because he doesn't drink coffee. He might be grouchy sometimes, though. I will have to ask his wife. Look at this. Look at this cat right here. I mean, that is the face of a grouchy cat. The cat gets grouchy when she can't find a sunny spot to sleep in. It's definitely a grouchy cat. I would not want to mess with that cat. The next word is an adjective, and it describes something sensitive. Sensitive. What does it mean? Well, it's right down there. Sensitive means easily upset by the things people say or do, or showing that you understand and care about other people's feelings. So sensitive means you're very emotional. For example, this man right here, he's sitting in a movie theater and it looks like there is a tear running down his cheek. Aw, maybe he's watching a sad movie. Let's look at the sentence. He is very sensitive and cries easily during sad movies. Please let me know in the comments when you watch movies and it's sometimes sad, do you often cry over sad movies? And to be honest, I do. The last time I cried really hard, I think, was watching the movie Up. It's a Pixar movie. And I don't want to spoil anything, but right at the beginning of the movie, something very sad happens and I might be a little sensitive. I might shed a tear. Shed a tear is when you cry like just a little bit. Take a look at this woman right here. She looks like she is sensitive. She looks like she has a really caring face and that she might be talking to a friend. Let's look at this sentence. She is sensitive to her friend's feelings and always listens to them. Yeah, so everybody needs a friend like that. If they are sensitive, they are willing to listen. If you vent to a friend, you might hear that verb. When you vent, that means you just say all of the things that are bothering you. And it's always good to have a friend that you can vent to. Oh boy, this next one. Of the 10 words, this one might be the most difficult to pronounce. It is enthusiastic. 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 That TH, depending on what your first language is, that TH may be very difficult. Enthusiastic. It's an adjective. It describes somebody or something. And we do have the adverb enthusiastically. Try to say that 5 times fast. Enthusiastically. But we're just talking about enthusiastic right now. And it means showing a lot of excitement and interest in something. Take a look at that picture. Look at that big smile. And the sentence tells us that. She was enthusiastic about starting her new art class. Looks like there are some paintings in the back there. She could be an artist. She could be really enthusiastic about this new class. What about this? Look at that crowd. That crowd, it looks like they have some glow sticks. It looks like they have their phones out recording the band. The crowd was enthusiastic during the concert, cheering loudly. I have a feeling if you are a musician, if you are playing music in front of a crowd, you want them to be enthusiastic, unless it was another concert like the one we talked about earlier, that piano recital. Yeah, I don't think you want the crowd to be enthusiastic. You want them to be quiet during the performance. This next one, it's a verb and it's pronounced mopes. Mopes. Let's check out and see what it means. Mopes means to be in a bad mood and not want to do anything, often feeling sorry for yourself. When I was younger, we didn't have the internet. So I was bored quite often. And a lot of times I would just walk around the house bored. And my mom would say, Brent, stop moping around the house. Do something. Go outside, maybe. Play. Mopes. How about this? Look at that man. He mopes around the house when he is bored. Yep, that man definitely looks bored. Not a lot to say about that. He just looks bored. He looks like he's moping. How about this next one? Aw, what a cute little girl. She has tons of toys in that room. But if you look, she mopes after losing her favorite toy. So she's very sad, not wanting to play with anything else. The toy is gone. She is sad. All right, here's a new verb for you, I hope. I hope you haven't heard this one, but you will be able to use it in conversation all the time. That is tangled. Tangled means twisted together in a messy way. We have another young lady in this picture, and her hair I would call tangled. Let's find out why her hair is so tangled. Her hair got tangled after playing in the wind all day. We have a little puppy, and his leash is all tangled. The puppy got tangled in his leash during the walk. The leash is what the human holds on to make sure the dog doesn't run away. And that thing around the dog's neck is something we call a collar. This happens to me all the time. Charging my phone, charging my computer, charging my family's phones and computers. We have a lot of wires. We have a lot of cords. Those things that woman is trying to fix, we would call them wires or maybe cords. They're definitely all tangled up on her. Tangled up. We sometimes say that phrasal verb. Phone chargers are always getting tangled up. Do you have that same problem as well? Before we get to the last couple words, I would like to remind you, if you are enjoying this English lesson, please hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe so you never miss another English lesson. The next one is rearrange. Rearrange, it means to change the position or order of things. Rearrange. And is important in English. When you see at the beginning of a word, or if you see as a prefix, it usually means again. So here are a couple words where means again. Redo something, reread something, rewrite something. Remember, means again. So let's look at this picture here. Rearranges. Rearranges. It looks like she is rearranging this room with a friend. She rearranges her room often to give it a fresh look. Yeah, maybe some people like to do that. They will rearrange the furniture in their living room. Maybe on one side of the room, she has a couch, and on the other side of the room, she has the chair. But then maybe she rearranges it or flip-flops those two pieces of furniture. Flip-flop? Is that new? That means when you change the position of two things. Yeah, she might rearrange the room to give it a fresh look. For anyone who likes books, this is a beautiful picture. I love books. And this person has a large bookcase full of books. And it looks like, according to the sentence, he rearranges the books on his shelf by color instead of size. And you can see that in the picture. It looks like all of the blue books are in one section, all of the red books are in another section. I hope these 10 words will be helpful to you when you have your next English conversation. Thank you so much for watching. If you are going to take the IELTS or TOEFL exam, there's a playlist full of videos that will help you. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.